Greckin.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Shaner. Here. Scott.
Here.
Waters.
Here.
Stand for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands.
one nation under God.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Interview for parking in Skywalk, Board of Trustees, Tim Paul. Tim, please come up to the microphone. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
Hello, thank you for your time and consideration. I am currently the Director of Operations and Maintenance for the Sioux City Community School District, which is an integral part of the Skywalk system with our building located downtown, our ESC and our Career Academy. So I would like to be part of that board to represent the school district and also represent my time as a citizen to that board and help in any way I can.
New to the job, used to be at Morningside College.
I did.
Did you?
I did.
We'll try not to hold that against you. We'll, at least some of us will try not to.
Hey, Tim, I noticed you said that you wanted to represent the hospital with the involvement in the Skywalk system. I was just curious, what involvement with the Skywalk system does the school district have right now? What do they do?
Well, currently, the skywalks go through the main portions of our buildings.
Yes.
So there's a lot of coordination with downtown partners, with signage, cleaning, different things along that line that I would like to be part of on that.
They pay a fee, Pete, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
Like any
we
other
do.
building.
Do you have any ideas what might improve the Skywalk system?
I'm fairly new to the post, so
Yep.
I could answer
I
that probably
understand.
later, so yeah.
Sure. I appreciate you applying. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. We're going to go on to the consent agenda today, items 3 through 13. Consider them to pass unanimously. If you want to speak on an item, come up as I read it. State your name and address for the record. If you want to speak on an item not under the agenda, come up under citizen concerns. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is reading of the City Council minutes of May 17th. 4 is a motion acknowledging the Board of Adjustment actions of May 11th. 5 is a resolution approving a modification to the reimbursable agreement for the runway 17-35 project at the airport. 6 is a resolution temporary closing a portion of Nebraska Street for the 7 hours Worshiping the King United Multicultural Community event. 7 is a resolution approving the final plat of Chestnut Hill. 8 are actions adopting construction documents. A is a resolution adopting construction documents for the Big Sioux Highway 12 Trail Project.
Mayor, I have a question for Matt, or maybe a comment. I noticed in your write-up, Matt, that the city is partnering with the Sioux City Railroad Museum.
Correct.
On the project. I think that's great, that you're working with that museum. So they're going to be looking at the plans and so on and so forth with what the trail project's going to be?
Matt Salvatore, Parks and Recreation Director. Yes, been working very closely with Matt Merck and Larry over there. They gave us an easement to do the trail, so they're very aware of what's going on there. Been working with them hand in hand throughout the whole process.
Perfect. I mean, it's a great asset that we have in our community. I'm glad you're working with them. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
But it won't go right through the
Goes on the outskirts of the property.
I was trying to visualize where it was.
Outside. Their core area is all fenced in.
Right.
This stays all outside of the fence. We're actually relocating a little bit of the fence, but they've been a part of all those discussions.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks, Matt.
Another what, 1 point something miles of trail?
Yeah, 1.19.
Awesome, man.
450,000 of federal funds. It's great.
Awesome.
How many miles does that give us, Matt?
We're just shy of 31 miles now. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Mayor.
B is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the runway 1331 rehabilitation and lighting upgrade project at the airport. 9 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a contract to W.A. Klinger for the Chris Larson Park Riverfront Development Project.
Mayor, I have a question for Matt on this one. Matt, thanks for advancing this project. It's terrific. And I just want to make sure everyone's clear on the bid. There's the base bid, and then you're also including the Floyd shelter,
Correct.
alternate number 4, and that's how you get to the $3,713,000.
Correct.
Okay. And Klinger has been working on Phase 1.
They have
so
phase 1.
This will be very beneficial for the transition into Phase 2, wouldn't it be?
Very much so. We're talking about how the schedule can be advanced as a result of that.
Okay. And the scheduled date, what was the completion date for?
December 2022, which,
Oh, yes, December 1, 2020.
it sounds like we'll be able to get it done much sooner than that.
Terrific. Okay, thanks again.
I was going to ask about timeline, yeah, how they were
Yeah.
doing, if they were ahead of schedule.
Greg with V&K said they'd like to wrap up late summer if possible.
Cool. I thought it
both-
looked
with
like
both
they were,
phases.
looked like they were
All Phase
ahead.
2?
Yes, late of 2022. And phase 1, they're hoping to wrap up late
You
this
had her
year.
holding her breath.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that would be quick.
That would,
No kidding.
So your other alternates, 1 through 3, will just be put on hold, or would be just?
Correct.
Table
Not out of
for
the
now?
question, but we'd have to raise the funds before we could move forward with those.
Correct. Well, and you've done a great job raising funds.
Yeah, with our committee's done a
Through the
great job.
foundation.
Yeah.
Been very busy.
Yep, it's been fun.
Thanks, Mayor.
B is resolution approving a consulting services agreement with DGR Engineering for the Kings Highway Reconstruction Project. C is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with JEO Consulting for the Rebecca Street Reconstruction Project. D is a resolution approving a contract to Boulder Contracting for the bridge repair projects. E is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with HGM Associates for the Perry Lane Reconstruction Project. I know you guys hate to bid them the way that we did on these, Dave. I know it, but it does show that when you pick a couple and then negotiate the price, you can save money. In the past, we just like to give it to somebody, and I know the engineering firms don't like it, but then that's okay too. I'm very comfortable with that, but there's a lot of savings in these 4 or 5 jobs if you look at those numbers, so.
And Dave, is that along the lines of what he's getting at, something we talked about in that meeting as far as improving processes, or is that apples to oranges?
It's a little different than what we discussed Friday during our public works team meeting. And I mean, we did talk to HGM because we were concerned about their price differential here, but they are convinced that they can
Meet
do it
that.
for that price, so.
anything glaring that makes the difference so substantial?
No, it was just, a lot of it was they just had reduced hours, but I mean, this is going to be a tricky project, so that's why we were concerned. So very narrow right away there.
F is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with H.R. Green for the Hamilton Boulevard Mill and Overlay Project. G is a resolution awarding a contract to Subservco for the water main replacement project. I need to abstain on that, please. H is a resolution granting a permit to Windstream Communications to maintain underground cable. I is a resolution approving a contract with CAP for the concrete crushing project at the airport. J is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with DGR Engineering for the Dodge Avenue reconstruction project. 10 are actions authorizing payments. A is a motion approving total payments for April. B is a resolution approving fund transfers for April. 11 are application for cigarettes, tobacco, nicotine, and vapor permits. See the list, come forward if you have questions. 12 are applications for beer and liquor license. See the list and come forward if you have questions. 13 are receipt of minutes. See the list, come forward if you have questions. Anyone to be heard on any of those items?
Mayor,
Yep.
I need to abstain on 11A8, which is Hard Rock, and 11B1, which is Hard Rock, and 12B1A, which is K&K Quick Corner.
K&K Quick Corner?
Yeah, 12B1A.
Did you open a gas station? Just kidding.
Conflict of interest. Thank you.
Dave, I wanted to bring something up. I've talked to you about it, so you don't need to come up necessarily. It was just over H. One thing I've been talking to Public Works and Dave and Gordon about with some of the fiber optics and putting them down there are the covers and on the intersections and where they're located on the sidewalks. I'm starting to get really concerned with the heaving and the spaces and in the truncated domes in some of those areas. So I've been working with Dave and Gordon and the team to just make sure to try to look into those because, gosh, if you roll around our downtown sidewalks like I was on Saturday, there are some spaces where it's really kind of heaving and creating some hazards that I think we need to really
Well,
be
until we
careful
make them go together, we're going to continue to have that. And you walk around the downtown, you don't have to walk very far, you'll find them an inch above the concrete all
Yeah.
over town. We don't enforce anything around here. We let these cable guys come into town, and if a guy's putting a water line in, we're on their case. But these guys can come in, no inspection whatsoever on their work. I about tripped on one the other day, an inch above the sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah, well, obviously the mayor has frustrations too, but I do too. I think we need to just get better at really watching that because there are some, that I've sent photos that I really worry about how it got approved or why it's in the status that it is or case that it is. So if we can just keep looking at what we can do to improve that, I would appreciate it. And we
Make
can
them
follow
go
up.
in the same vault. That's what you make them do.
Use the
They
existing
won't
ones?
like it, but too bad.
Use the existing ones, not create new ones?
Yeah, I don't understand why we have to have, you could have 3 phone companies on the same dang corner.
Is that what other communities do?
I have no idea, but it doesn't matter what other communities do. What we're doing here is not working. We've got them, or they got to start tearing them out and putting them back in. And
Because it starts looking like a patchwork on the sidewalks, which, yeah, I think we just
they
wanna-
all settle differently because they don't compact, so.
But I just wanted at least the council to be aware that I was working with Public Works to try to alleviate some of those issues because I've noticed them too.
Well, how does that happen that they get out of town without an inspection?
They put their $250 bond up and do the work, and we don't inspect. We don't inspect any of those those jobs.
Dave, did you want to come up?
They call you when they pour them back? I don't think so. Absolutely not.
They don't contact us, and they apply for a permit, but it doesn't say the specific dates. Yep, they just hit them and
Put it in your ordinance that they can't pour them back,
Yeah,
and you
that's
inspect them.
That's right.
You're good
What I'd do.
about charging,
working on.
you're real good about charging people to do subdivisions now. Figure out a way to charge to do that, because it's,
They do have to post a 2-year bond.
it doesn't matter if we don't inspect.
If we don't catch it in
I
that
tell you
2
what,
years, is that what you mean?
Let's get your new guy, when he has a day, to walk the downtown and see how many of them are a half an inch to an inch above the paving.
And I
You're
would,
gonna be shocked.
yes, and I would encourage anyone that sees that there is an issue, please contact us so we can go out and take a look at it and mark it.
Yep. And that's what I've been doing is trying to make a catalog and talk to staff at least. But if there's a way that we can be proactive, we've been talking about solutions. So if that's something we need to do is work it into whenever they're doing that, you have to sign off or
A
something.
guy can't necessarily pour a sidewalk in this town unless this guy sends a guy out there. We did our church. You gotta send him out. And if he doesn't like the angle, guess what? You get to go back up the hill further.
And it could be the
Great.
same, and
But
it could be
these
the same
guys don't-
argument.
These guys have we don't do anything to control.
Could be the same argument. As far as the angle of that, and then you have trip hazards as well. It's the same argument. Okay.
Except for we don't inspect.
Yeah.
So, 14 's recommendation of planning and zoning.
Oh.
Yeah,
We are still waiting for Councilman Greckin and Councilman Shaver to vote. There we go.
Sorry, I kind of hopped in at the end.
We were discussing some more.
passes 5-0 unless otherwise noted. 14 's recommendation of planning and zoning, hearing and ordinance rezoning 2840 Memorial Drive. The petitioners Aaron Lemire, p and Z recommends approval. I'll move it. Second. Hearing's now open.
Good afternoon, Ryan Ross, Chair of Planning and Zoning. This was a 6-0 vote. This is a long, narrow piece of property that can't otherwise be developed in its current zoning, so it was rezoned to allow for housing construction, urban infill.
That's a good one. Anyone else be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to see you, buddy.
I always feel so bad when you have to leave your office like Mr. Moore. At least he gets paid a little bit. You get nothing. Thank you. Passes 5-0. Anybody opposed to waiving statutory rule?
No.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Greckin?
Aye.
Second and third, move it.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 15 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell property abutting 506 West 14th Street. Commissioners Allen and Starr, I'll move it.
Second.
Anyone to be heard, the public hearing is now open. Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 16 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell property abutting 508 West 14th Street. The petitioner is Margaret Satori. I'll move it.
Second.
Anyone to be heard, the public hearing is now open. Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 17 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell the vacated abandoned streetcar right-of-way at 1528 and a half Harris Street. The petitioners Jimmy and Kimberly Rising. I'll move that.
Second.
The hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 18 is a hearing and resolution approving the specifications for the demolition of 1518, 1522 Douglas Street. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Darrell, what are you going to do on that back wall? Because that, are you going to have to rebuild a wall there? Because that church is the back wall, the alley.
Yeah, there's a portion of the wall that has already fallen through just neglect over the years. That portion's been removed and cleaned up. There is an additional portion to the property to the south that still needs to be removed. Part of the specifications that we've given to the contractors as we did the walkthrough was to build a sloping wall away from there so that we can mow it still, but that lot will all grade and come off there, so we don't have walls to maintain in the future. There'll be a small wall there only.
Okay, good.
So it'll be a little wall and then a grade of soil sodded in or something?
Yeah, there'll be silt fences and what have you all the way along with some berm to keep the water from rushing down that slope. So that way we won't have walls to maintain in the future.
Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 19 is a hearing and resolution amending the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? How can you do that before we close the year? The year before?
Hard to amend the budget before the end of May.
Okay, I got you. What happens if we have something major happen in June?
Right. Because
Sorry, I asked.
We'll be
Then
back.
we don't have until the end of June then?
No, we have till the end of May to budget the amendment, after which point I will turn it over.
Hi, Teresa.
We borrow from FY '22.
Teresa Fitch, Finance Director. We have until May 31st to amend the budget for this fiscal year. So it's due the 31st of this month. And again, if anything happens between now and then, we just, we've planned for that, hopefully. And so nothing does happen, but we'll pray nothing does.
Do we borrow ahead then if something?
At times, we have brought forward funds from projects to start projects. So a lot of the projects you'll see on the list are projects that we bring forward so we can bid and start those projects, particularly, the streets and those types of things that have to happen in the summer months. So that's part of the reason there is an amendment that, also with grants and those types of things that we have to allocate out the budget for.
I guess if something happens by the time we physically need the money, it probably would be into July.
Yep, and typically we would get our bond deposit too at some point in June too. So we'd have just a small window of time.
Just seems funny having that gap.
Some
Yep,
of those
it does.
construction projects, though, are prior to July 1, is what.
Yeah, they'll bid, but we don't typically have much for expenses prior to July 1. So we allow them to bid out and
We're ramping
whatnot.
up to that.
Yep.
Okay,
So
hearing's closed.
Thank you.
Citizen concerns. Anyone want to be heard, please come to the microphone, state your name and address after I tell you that the last vote was 5-0. Thank you. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, we're going to council concerns. Mr. Gretkin.
None, thank you.
Miranda, did you want to share something? Your call, if not. I just wanted, before we moved on and everything, I wanted to make
No,
sure.
I just was seeing if anybody else had anything to say.
No worries.
So last week, Miranda Kazos, 652 Blue Stem, we talked about why.
Excuse me, Brenda, can I have you repeat that? I didn't understand what you said.
Miranda Kazos, 652 Blue Stem.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. So last week, we talked a little bit about why I thought that the bidding process for animal control specifically was unfair. And so what I did is I looked at other councils, kind of how they do things. I was really alarmed with this scorecard. I had to blow it up because it was so small. There were such few criteria that it was the only way to get the notes on. So anyway, the typical process is you establish a board with no conflicts of interest. And you kind of want a bigger board than 4. And then when you had Officer Groves come up here, he was talking about how well he personally works with Cindy Raritt. So to me, that says he had a conflict of interest going into it. What's more, there was just a misunderstanding between him and Miss Johnson, where he had gotten pretty heated prior to all of this, assuming that she was a liar and a thief. And I have all the email documentation proving that that, isn't the case. It was a genuinely big misunderstanding on his end. But I can't help but think that that impacted his decision. The second thing you'd want to do is evaluate the proposal on a detailed scorecard with sound metrics. If you look at items 1, 2, and 7 on the scorecard that they were provided with, 1, 2, and 7 are not only not mutually exclusive, none of them are exhaustive, but they're all synonymous. They're the same question. They all pertain to experience, qualification, experience, current contract, experience currently with the city. That's a total of 45 points for basically being the current bidder. If you were to break down the first 2 into mutually exclusive questions that do not pertain to each other, and if you give them normal metrics like 0 to 10 or 0 to 5, you find that people are able to answer and see if they meet particular needs. You can't ask somebody on a scale of 0 to 30 how experienced they are. That is not an appropriate question. You don't stay at a 28-star hotel because on a scale of 0 to 30, that doesn't give the consumer very much information. There was no financial category on here, and there was no performance category on here. And if you look, but by the time you even get to the word proposal on this scorecard, there are 75 points to be earned. 15 total for the actual proposal, which is what they're supposed to be evaluating. And I just think it's insane that this was able to happen. The final step is, and by the way, I'm very confident that they didn't even read the bid because they didn't know basic things that were on either of them. So then you have an uninformed review board using ridiculous metrics that not only lean in the incumbent's favor, it genuinely makes it mathematically impossible for any other outcome. And then they bring this scorecard and their lack of information to a council that's incomplete, missing 20% of the votes. You weren't here. I regret that because I know that you are 20% of the critical thinking, the questions, you care about things.
Yeah.
But they bring this to a council that also didn't read it, and I know that because there were emails sent out wanting to know why nobody on council read it. So nobody here knows the bids, the proposals, or what's going on, and you have 75 points to be earned for being the current contractor before anybody mentions the proposal. At any point, 3 of the questions are the same. 1, 2, 3, and 7 are the same. 3 and 5 are virtually the same. So you just repeatedly get points for currently being in office. So what is the point? If you are not going to establish a board with no conflict of interest, have them evaluate it with real metrics. There should be about 30 categories, not 7. And then if that board's going to bring it to a council that didn't even read it, you guys aren't going to know what questions to ask. You're not going to know what follow-up questions to ask. And it was asked several times. Mayor Scott was the only sound voice in the room saying, okay, well, how many points were for experience? Were there any points given for, how much this is going to cost the city? And the answer was nobody knew. Nobody knew. Nobody took this seriously. And another
I'm
thing.
going to need you to wrap it up, okay?
Okay, another thing that's wrong with it is you never do two candidates on the same page, which is how they did this. You're supposed to do it separately, because if I'm doing this and I see, oh, well, the first two are for already having the contract, well, she's 40 points ahead. How seriously am I going to do the rest of the proposal? I'm not, because I know the winner by the time I got to the second question. Because they weren't done independently of each other, they weren't done on sound metrics, they were done by people that didn't read it, and then presented to people that didn't read it. And I just think that that's incredibly unfair. And if you don't think that this is enough evidence, what are the statistical odds in a city with a metropolitan area of about 100,000 that in 30 years, only one person wants this job, and the other two bidders are so bad that they're losing by 75%?
I got to have you wrap it up.
It makes no sense.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else be heard?
Miranda, one thing that you brought up, or that you had mentioned to me and stuff, was some of your experience of looking into different municipalities and their processes. And did you find any other questions or any other forms or any other, you mentioned there was at least like 30 categories or something?
Yes, because what you're going to see is,
If you can go to a mic for it, no, you're fine.
because what you're going to see on a typical one, so instead of just saying, like what ours says, current experience, and by the way, question number 3 is all about turning in deadlines and stuff. That's not even pertinent to this contract. Why was that question on there? So the first thing you do is you make sure they're mutually exclusive so that somebody can't get double points. So instead of saying 0 to 30, how experienced are you? You'd say formal education, and you guide them, high school, college, trade school. 0 to 10, maybe you give 4 points for high school, 4 points for college, an extra for a master's, an extra for a doctorate. That is a metric. That associates to something. Additional continuing education. Have they been to relevant conferences, completed coursework, done volunteer community service? That's 0 to 5 points. And it's 0 to 5, 0
And and you don't have to go through all of them. I just wondered if there were different examples that you could share, because it was obvious that if the mayor had ideas of ways that it could improve, I just want to make sure that we're going into that before the process starts.
And you guys will get that in the email, what yours looks like versus basically everybody else. And I didn't just use city councils because, again, it's unique, this particular contract. So I also pulled from companies that do, similar long time bid work. Because on here, again, it's, can they execute this in an orderly fashion? Is this going to be done by the deadline? It's a 5-year contract for a facility that's been there for 35 years. What does that even mean? How do you score 20 points for a deadline when there is no deadline? And then the final question is there any other experience or additional information? So that was just an opportunity to just throw another 5 points out there without explanation. Not one of the commenters, not one of them, added additional information. And when you don't have a thorough thing that you're giving back to people saying, hey, like, this is where you didn't do well, this is where you did, there's zero competition. Because, now Johnson's not going to get this back and say, hey, I didn't do well.
We're redoing.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to know.
Talked about.
I just wanted to make sure that you were sending an email with examples that you had seen in others.
The whole entire charting system's on there, as well as the way that this has been evaluated to be corrected. And about 45 to 60 of the points are not valid. They don't correspond to any metric whatsoever.
Okay. Thank you.
Julie.
Nothing, sir.
Alex.
The only thing I was going to say is that I forgot to say last week would just be to encourage our community to continue to have safe practices. Whether that is getting vaccinated themselves. I've seen numbers of where we are as a community versus where we are as a nation. I think that we all want to keep each other safe. And so I would encourage you to do so. And at the very least, I would encourage you to respect private businesses and their requests. Because I've seen some of that too, where businesses are trying to keep their staff safe. So they have different recommendations. So I would just ask that we all be respectful and we all try to keep each other safe during this time. That's all I would have, Mayor. It was, yeah, I guess the only other thing was what we brought up earlier, was working with the Public Works team, but that's all I have.
Mr. Moore.
Mayor, I have about 4 things I'd like to cover briefly.
Starting to
Update,
take Alex's place.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Make me look good.
I missed you last week.
Yeah,
Or was that 2 weeks ago? I
Couple
don't
weeks.
remember.
Weeks ago.
Just an update on Inclusive Sioux City. I wanted to let everyone know on the Inclusive Sioux City Advisory Committee, the committee members are looking at expanding the number of committee members that they have, looking at different other community groups that could be added to that overall advisory committee. So they're going to be looking at that. We'll be coming back with some suggestions and recommendations in June, second Tuesday of June at 12:15 p.m. is when their meeting is held. So that's on Inclusive Sioux City. Secondly, just to let everyone know, we've been in the process, the city has been in the process of making PSAs for the fireworks coming up in July, and those will start to be aired mid-June, and we just really need to have the community pull together on safe and legal use of fireworks this year, please. And then thirdly, I sent Jill Wanderscheid an email. There's been a lot of talk about affordable housing. For a couple of years, I've been wanting to get a good definition of what affordable means. I think we all have an opinion of what that means, but Jill gave, I sent an email out to her just this morning, and she's already responded with some ideas, but I'm going to ask Jill to continue to work with the city manager and try to formulate a good definition, a working definition of affordable housing and what that means and how does that fit into our community today. A group of us made a trip to Des Moines last year to make a presentation to ask the state of Iowa to partner with us in the need that we have for affordable housing, and no one really had readily had a definition of affordable housing. So I'd like to really focus in on that this year. And then fourthly and lastly, a week from today is Memorial Day. I hope everyone has a safe Memorial Day weekend, and we'll be meeting a week after that with a full city council. Fifth thing is tomorrow we have our retreat, an update on how we're going to use the CARES funds for the different projects we have in the city. And that meeting starts when, Bob, at 1? 1 o'clock in the Gleason Room in the Sioux City Public Library downtown here. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
1 o'clock means you're having to buy your own lunch. Don't forget now, don't.
Bring in the basket.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Shaner?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Greckin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
You.